All right, welcome everybody. This is the session for study abroad for English majors. I hope you are all expecting that when you signed on to this link. My name is Gina DeFino. I manage study abroad programs and fellowships for Honors Carolina. And I work in close partnership with the Study Abroad office so that we provide different ways of doing study abroad that are open to all UNC students. And just like any other program that you might find, there are just different requirements for every program that you'll see. But today I'm going to do a quick overview of studying abroad. I'll tell you some featured programs for English majors, and then I will be happy to answer some questions, and we should be out by 4:30. Because I actually have another session right after this, and I'd be happy to, if you wanted to stick around for that one as well. All right, why should English majors study abroad? Why should anybody study abroad? Frankly, I think there's a lot of real world experience that you can gain that's both tied to your career path, but is also in the form of personal development that is the soft skills that lots of employers and that will help you out throughout the rest of your life in bridging communities. So you'd be getting some experience that could be tied to a career path. You could develop cross-cultural competencies and develop relationships and networks beyond the ones that you already are familiar with at Carolina. And then these skills and traits that I was referring to before: curiosity, creativity, flexibility, independence. Sometimes you don't really know what those things are until you get yourself out of your bubble. Study abroad will help you do that no matter which program you take advantage of. So here are some of the recommended programs that we would like English majors to look at in particular. Just so you know, there are more than 300 programs in over 60 countries, and they can appeal to a wide variety of students. Obviously, we have direct enroll programs and exchange programs, and that would mean that a lot of any other institution's catalog would be available to you. But we want to talk about some of the ones that we've created just for UNC students. Oh, that went backwards. Apologies, I will advance. The first program is a life writing program in Ireland, which the course number that you'd follow is English 283. That program will be like a Maymester format program from mid-May to early June, and it is being taught by Michael Gutierrez. You can get the session links here after the session on the Study Abroad website for this program for Study Abroad Week, but it's also right there if you just wanted to jot it down for right now. This program obviously is a writing intensive program in Ireland, and Professor Gutierrez is fantastic. He did an info session a week or two ago, and I believe that's already posted on the program brochure as well. So if you're interested in more detail for that, I would recommend either reaching out to him or checking out that info session. The next program I want to mention is an Honors Carolina program. And as I mentioned before, all Honors Carolina study abroad programs are open to all students on campus with a 3.0 GPA. So it's just like our courses on campus, and actually many students who are not officially in Honors Carolina do take advantage of our programming abroad. This program is focused on romantic literature and contemporary issues in London and Oxford. We have been running a program in London and Oxford for 40 years. The faculty member who used to teach it just retired, and now the rest of the English department is taking it on. This one's pretty exciting. It's a romantic literature course, so you'll actually spend the first few weeks in London and then a week in the Lake District, which inspired a lot of the romantic literature that we know about, and then complete the program for 2 weeks in Oxford at St. Edmund Hall. And that faculty director is Joe Fletcher. We like to talk about our semester programs as well that are suitable for students of all different disciplinary backgrounds. The UNC program in Cape Town is a really interesting and intensive experience. This coming fall, it will be led by Pam Cooper, who is from the Department of English and Comparative Literature. And she actually is a South African who was the faculty lead for this program a couple times in the past, and we're excited that she'll be coming back to lead it once again. The setup of honors internship programs is that you would take about half of the credits will be in seminars. So you'll take one course with Dr. Cooper and one course with an historian from the University of Cape Town, and you take your classes at the University of Cape Town. And then 3 to 4 days a week, you'll be interning with an organization that promotes the development of democratic institutions in South Africa. So you'll be working with and alongside South Africans to build a better South Africa. So that is an amazing program, and I'm happy to talk to you more about that. We've been there since 1998, so just past the fall of apartheid, and that's where you can see some of the roots of that program about building civil society. We always like to bring up our UNC Honors in London semester. That also features an internship for 20 hours a week in partnership with 3 seminars that you would take in London. And you can either take the track where you take 4 academic seminars and no internship, or you can take the track where you take 3 seminars and the internship. And the internships on both of these programs are fully customized to your interests. So we can talk more about what those might look like, but they can be in all sorts of different organizations, businesses, nonprofits, governmental and non-governmental organizations. As you can see, we always have an English course on that program, and that is taught by a gentleman who's a writer and an academic, the Imagining Literary London course, along with the other courses that are listed on the right side of this screen. In the autumn, the program will be led by Pam Silberman, who is from Gilling School of Public Health. And then every semester, a different faculty member leads that program. So you'd get coursework that's coming over from UNC in a different discipline, in addition to the other ones that we always offer on a semester by semester basis. Some of the other semester programs that are featured for English majors in Europe, obviously in the University of Copenhagen in Denmark and Lund in Sweden. The UK and Ireland is often a very common place for English majors to study. Obviously, Bristol, East Anglia and Sussex, we have some good exchange partnerships with. And then in Oceania, in Australia, the University of Sydney, and in New Zealand, both Auckland and Canterbury offer great programs with strong English coursework that can transfer over. So let's talk a little bit about the general side of study abroad, academics and credit. While you are on your program abroad, you can earn all sorts of different credit. You can earn general elective credit. You can earn your general education credits. And I often tell students not to rush at their gen eds on campus, because those are great opportunities to take abroad. They're often easier to find abroad, and then you get that experiential piece for some of your general education requirements. All study abroad programs offer the EE, experiential education requirements. So even if it's not normally attached to that course, because you're a part of a study abroad program, you will get that EE credit on the program. And major credit, minor credit, language requirements can be approved. It often requires departmental approval, but there are some pre-approved courses, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But I would recommend that you meet with your academic advisor before you apply, because it's a good idea to identify a strategy for how you want to study abroad and what kinds of credits you'd like to earn while you're abroad, or what kind of experience you'd like to have, for instance, like the internship or a research experience. Especially if you have high number of transfer credit hours, it's really important to strategize about this. One of the benefits of doing a UNC faculty-led program like the ones that Honors Carolina offers, and like the life writing course that we were talking about at the beginning in Ireland, are that those are actual UNC courses. So they're not transfer credits at all. They're entirely UNC courses that you're enrolled in, even though you're traveling with a UNC professor. There is a link to a list of pre-approved courses. Those are all on the Study Abroad website, which is fantastic because then you can like search through and know that that course that you might be interested in taking or that credit that you may need may already have a decision. And as we continue to get more and more students studying abroad at different institutions and taking other courses, we'll continue to update that list. So that's certainly not an exhaustive list. It's just a list of ones that we've already audited and therefore we understand will transfer over because the department has already approved them. So make sure you're doing some research into the program and the courses and credits, understanding the catalog for the program that you're interested in, and if there are prerequisites before you do that. You can look at the Academics Abroad site on the Study Abroad website to learn more and to research more of the courses and the credits. Program costs are a really important consideration when you're starting to look at study abroad. It's important to understand that exchange courses have the same tuition rate that you would pay at UNC. And then some of the other ancillary things like housing may be different. And obviously there'd be the cost of traveling to the place where you're studying abroad. So think about those different considerations. All of the UNC courses are self-funded, which means that all of the cost of the program is basically divided amongst the people who are participating in that program. And we have a commitment to keeping these programs as affordable as we possibly can, and to raising funding for scholarships and aid. In general, it's really good to know that your regular financial aid package can usually be applied to your study abroad expenses. For the most part, that happens. If you have any questions about it, you can reach out to this email address, fa_studyabroad@unc.edu. And if you include your name, your PID, the term you're looking to study abroad, and a link to the program's budget or to the brochure with the budget page, then the financial aid office, Sharon Beers, is fantastic. She can provide an estimate for what you would be expected to pay out of pocket and what your aid package would look like from UNC to adjust for the differing costs on your program. So it's better to have that and understand that comfort. And that's actually the estimate before you would be awarded any additional scholarships through UNC or Honors Carolina. There's a link in the slides here as well to make an appointment, so you can make an appointment directly with her if you have questions, so you can better understand how to read those budget sheets as well. How should I apply? Well, it's always a good idea to attend a Study Abroad 101 session. If you haven't done that, those are listed on the Study Abroad website. Do some research on the programs and the credit you might want to take before you meet with a study abroad advisor. It's a great idea to meet with an advisor. It's not required. I mean, some programs do have a requirement of meeting with the advisor, but before you go in to meet with an advisor, it's better to take a look at some of the programs that are out there and some of your options and come in with an idea about either where you might want to go or the kind of credit you might want to get while you're abroad in partnership with the place you might want to go. Your mind can change totally. You don't have to be set on it, but it's at least the beginning of a conversation. In step 4, you complete the Heals Abroad application, which you can get to through the Study Abroad website or just healsabroad.unc.edu. And then if you are attending a program that is through a host institution, you may be required to also complete a host institution application. And that's so the host institution has all of the information that they need to help get you in their systems and make sure that you are a student there. You usually have about 2 weeks once you've been accepted to sign your study abroad contract letter. So an application is not a commitment to a program. You'll have a couple weeks to consider after you've applied whether you want to take on that program, and you're only asked to sign the contract after acceptance and after your financial aid package is shared with you. And then we need to take a pre-departure orientation session, which will help you think about all the steps you need to take as you prepare to take your next term abroad. What does the application look like? Programs that are led by UNC, the entire application is in the Heals Abroad system. It consists of short answer questions and some profile details. For certain programs, like our honors internship programs, it might also ask for a resume and some recommendations. But most of the programs are just a set of short answer questions, unofficial transcripts. There's a program fee as well. And then there are some disclaimers, some waivers that you should read through and understand what it means to study abroad. For the partner programs, you have the Heals Abroad application, as I mentioned, as well as the host institution application. So even though UNC is nominating you for an exchange program, you also have to be in the host institution system. Generally, if you are nominated by UNC, you are accepted by the host institution. But of course, that is up to the host institution's discretion to admit any students that they would like. The application cycles, there are 2 in the year. The open date and the deadline are the same every year, so you don't need to remember anything year on year. At the beginning of any term, you should be thinking about, if I'm going to study abroad the next term, then I should be applying to study abroad now. So for the summer, fall, and academic year cycle, we've just opened the applications this Monday, November 15th. And then those will close on February 10th. In many cases, there is no reason to rush to apply. You can look at your program, and if it says it's rolling admission, then that might give you a little bit more incentive to apply early. But for most programs, we won't review applications until the February 10th deadline. For the spring and academic year, for the calendar year cycle, the applications usually open August 1st and they close on September 10th. So again, it's really tight at the beginning of each term to make your applications for the following term. And I know it might feel early now to apply for next fall, but it won't be feeling that way once you are in the spring and we're looking at acceptance in March. It's always right before registration so that you can know if you're studying abroad and therefore don't need to register for classes for the upcoming term. I hope you see that little asterisk by each of these bullets. The dates may vary by region, mostly because some regional academic calendars are a little bit different than ours. I would say that the great majority of programs are on this schedule, but do look at the program that you're interested in particular and see if there's a more abbreviated schedule or calendar for you to apply. Everyone asks if they can apply to more than one program, like to try and, in case a program is very competitive. I will say that there is a rating in each of the brochures that should tell you approximately how competitive each program is. And most of our programs, we can find you a spot in a program that works for you. So it's better to commit to a program, not commit to a program, but like to commit to the application for one program and put your best thoughts and your best efforts into that single program. So that's why you can only apply to one at a time. If there is something that would happen that would close that program, or you weren't able to get a seat on that program, then your study abroad advisor will work with you to find another program that meets your needs. But please just focus and think about one program at any given time. The Study Abroad website is the main site for everything that you need for study abroad. Your resources there can talk about academics, advising, scholarships, and aid, and there are some resources for parents and families as well. The Study Abroad office runs a great newsletter also. It's not very frequent, so it's not going to jam up your inbox, but it gives you some highlights and reminds you of deadlines if you want to sign up for that. The Study Abroad website can help you find that. The Heals Abroad portal is the place where you apply for programs. So that's healsabroad.unc.edu. That's where all of our programs live, and that's where the application system is. even when applications aren't open, you can do program searching within that tool, and there are multiple different filters for finding programs. So look at that program search tool so that you can explore different ways to look at programs. You can look at them by location, by program feature, by name, if you know the name already. And then you apply in the system by visiting the brochure and clicking the words "Apply now." This is what it looks like, that program search tool. So you can either search by name, like I said at the beginning, or you can look by the city, the region, country. There are other parameters below that can help you understand, but don't get too finicky with the filters or you're going to get too short a list. So you're better off starting with one primary search criterion, and if that comes up with way too many programs for you to look at, then add another search criterion. Health and safety is at the top of our minds these days, and obviously shut us down for quite some time for study abroad, not entirely, but mostly. So we wanted to acknowledge that today. As we all know, all travel involves some level of risk. Obviously with COVID-19 out and in waves throughout the world right now, we're still adjusting to both the restrictions that any countries may have, the kinds of guidelines that any institutions may have, and the vulnerability of a program based on some of the protocols for quarantine and isolation. So it's beneficial to understand that we have multiple different ways of studying abroad, some including even like virtual programs. We have additional risk assessment procedures so that we can determine a program's viability, and we do that via several public health measures as well as entry requirements and whether U.S. students are even allowed in the country at a given time. We mitigate the risk through briefing students during a pre-departure orientation, and so that's a way to help you think about the different risks in your area and how that country is dealing with it. And then we may make changes to the program itinerary in order to make the program more viable or safer for all of our students to participate in. All of these things are tools in our box to help keep you safe and make sure that we're not putting too much risk into studying abroad. As I mentioned before, you can sign up to receive the monthly newsletter from the bottom of the website homepage. You can also get these slides later and just click on the link. We're pretty active on Instagram and Facebook, so you can see upcoming info sessions, student spotlights, stories to help you get excited about studying abroad. Some of my favorite features on Instagram are the student takeovers, and there have been some great ones this fall already, so I would recommend that you follow UNC Study Abroad. If you're interested in any of our Honors Carolina London programs, UNC Winston House is a great place to follow as well. And then check out the website and for FAQs and other updates. Especially in the age of COVID, we have specific term-related FAQs so that you can see what some of the policies are and how they're changing as we progress with COVID. All right, this is the time when I have to take questions. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question directly, and I'll be happy to answer. Unfortunately, with the presentation, I'm not as easily able to access chat while I have my screen open, but I'd be happy to take verbal questions right now. Any questions out there, English majors? Well, this must have been a decent presentation. I hope so. Well, I hope that you will definitely proceed with your study abroad hopes. And if you have questions, do a little research and then make an appointment with a study abroad advisor, and we will get you abroad for this coming term. Thank you so much for being here. We're really excited for you, and I'm really excited to keep sending students abroad. it's a great joy to be back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. This was so helpful.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Thanks. All right. Bye, everybody. Hello. Are you here for the